Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So Evolution Power Tools recently sent me over some of their power tools to try out in my project videos, including this cordless Mitre saw. So in this video I'm going to be unboxing, testing and reviewing this saw. So let's take a quick look at the outer box. This is the 18 volt Li EXT cordless 185mm sliding mitre saw. It has a 3-year guarantee. It says at the bottom here, powered by Erbauer, compatible with Erbauer EXT batteries. The box also displays the cutting capacity, so straight cuts 210mm by 58mm, 45 degrees mitre cuts 145mm by 58mm, and what we got here, a bevel, 45 degree bevel, 210 by 40mm, and I think that last one is a bevel and a mitre cut combined, 145 by 40mm. So on this side of the box there are a few illustrations just showing what the blade can do. It's a multi-material cutting blade, wood with nails, steel and aluminium, PVC and composites and more. So I've used an Evolution mitre saw with one of these blades before and I've cut all sorts of stuff with it. I have cut through old rusty nails with no problem. I've cut some metal brackets, pipe, things like that, angle iron, and it's done the job. So I'm going to open up the box now and show you all the different parts that come in here included. So first up we've got the blade itself, the multi-purpose, multi-material blade. And it has some instructions on the pack on how to fit it, which is very useful. There's the instruction manual. There's another diagram of how to fit this together. I won't show how to put this together in this video, but there's the diagram if you need it. We've got a clamp here, a workpiece clamp. Dust extraction adapter pipe. And then there's two knobs. I'm guessing that one goes on the front to adjust the angle for mitre cuts, and this one I'm not so sure about, but we'll have a look at that later. Here is the back sliding portion. Here are two plastic feet that help you to support the workpiece. Going down into the second layer, there's a dust bag, and then the main part of the saw itself. So we've got the motor section and the bottom section. There's the bottom section, feels quite lightweight as well. So let's take a look at all these parts now. So here are all the parts laid out. As I say, I'm going to get this put together now and I'm going to be following the instructions, and then we'll take a closer look at this saw. So the saw was nice and simple to set up. These two end pieces go on with two Allen key bolts, easily just screw in there. These help to support the workpiece. You've got the workpiece clamp that just fits in at the back here. There's this knob that locks the angle, so there's a lever under here that you can adjust the angle with, and then this locks it in place. I just screwed that in and added a little bit of grease to that. The blade was pretty simple to fit. There's just two pieces here that come off, and you've got an arbor button here to lock the blade in place while you're undoing the nuts. The motor slides onto this rail here and it clicks into position to lock it into place, and I've added the dust bag, and it comes with an Allen key here that you can use. It's got two ends on it to assemble this. Okay, so out of the box this was nearly square, it was slightly off, but that's not a problem because it's easy to adjust. So there's a knob at the back here for the bevel angle, and then you see here and here either side there's a little nut that you can adjust to get it set perfectly to 0. I've just done that, and I'll just show you now how it's nice and square. No light gaps showing through there, and I've used 2 different squares just to make sure that it is nice and square. Probably just perfectly okay to use out of the box, although I just wanted to dial it in a little bit. You can see there that is nice and square, and get it as accurate as possible before I get going with this saw. So as I was saying, to get the blade square with the table fence nice and square and adjusted, you've got this bevel knob here. I'm actually going to tighten that up now because that's set where I want it. And you've got these nuts here that you can undo, and then you can adjust these Allen keys which adjust this. So this is now set on my machine perfectly square to 0 degrees. So now the saw is all set up and ready to use. The battery just slides in the top here. So the trigger switch is nice. You push it to the left and the light comes on. I like that feature. So I suppose the light takes power from the battery and only works when you turn that switch on. Nice to have a light. And then if you press the second lever, the saw will come on. That's the electronic brake. You can hear it's very snappy. It stops that blade very quickly, which is quite impressive. I'm inside my workshop now, and volume wise it's not very loud at all. I think it might be the quietest mitre saw that I've actually used so far, so that's good to know. And the sliding function on the rail can be locked in position. I've got it locked in position now. I'll just take the battery out to show you the rest of the features. So this handle can come down, and then there's a pin here that pushes across, and that locks the saw in place. And when you're carrying the saw, you've got this knob here. I'll just take the dust bag off so you can see. There's a knob here that locks this rail, stops that rail from sliding around. So you could have this locked in place when you're transporting it, or if you want to make some cuts and you don't want to use the sliding feature, you could just lock it out at the back and use it that way. Here is the workpiece clamp, which can be adjusted to lock a piece in position while you're cutting it. And then at the front here you've got this knob that you can loosen off, and this is to make angled mitre cuts. So it's set at 0 degrees at the moment, and these click into place. There's standard settings like 45 degree, that sort of thing, and it will click into position. So there's a knob underneath here, like a lever that you pull up, and then you can pull it along and wait for the click, and that's set to 15 degrees. And I've just clicked it back to 0. Now I'm going to tighten up that knob again. And then at the back you've got the bevel knob here that allows you to adjust the bevel angle, and you can see it's tilting that way and it stops. This can be adjusted as well. So when you want to do mitre or bevel cuts, you'll need to change the distance of the fence, and there's a little knob here. You can pull this out the way so that you don't chop through it when you're making those cuts, and then that can slide back where you need it. Let's quickly take a look at the cutting capacity here, the depth of cut available on this 185mm blade. From the washer in the centre there to the outer tip of the blade, it's just over 70mm there, so that should allow you to cut through most general materials. The saw also has this trench cut facility, which is good for cutting dado joints, things like that. It limits the depth of cut, so you can shallow up your cut and add like a trench or a dado for a joint. So you just adjust this. I'll be using this later on and giving it a go. If you would like to know more about Evolution Power Tools or are interested in buying their products, you can go to the Evolution Power Tools website, which is on screen now, and you can take advantage of my promo code PWProjects for a 5% discount at checkout on any Evolution Power Tools. As an affiliate of Evolution Power Tools, I make a small commission on each sale when my code is used. This is at no extra cost to you, and it helps to support this channel. All links and relevant info can be found in the description of this video. Thank you, and now let's get back to the video. As you can see, the saw is nice and lightweight and easy to get set up and on the workbench. Today I'll be using it in conjunction with my Evolution cordless vacuum. First of all, I wanted to do a straight cut on this piece of pine just to check how square the cut is. It gave a nice clean cut, and now checking it with the square, it looks nice and square. Now onto a 45-degree mitre cut on a bed slat. And that 45-degree cut looks pretty good to me. So now a 45-degree bevel. Again, this is on a piece of bed slat made of pine. Another nice clean cut and a nice square bevel. Moving on to some 3x2 CLS. Easily cut through this, nice and clean. This is a pallet wood board. Now a 2x4. And again, it had no problem cutting through this. Here is a pine decking board, pretty standard piece of decking material. Now a piece of wood with some ring nails in it. I've took these ring nails out of some old pallets and I've bashed them into the end, and I want to see how well it copes with cutting through these. The machine had no problem cutting through these. I took a few different cuts to just to practice to get a nice clean cut, as the first cut wasn't too clean. And now, as you can see, I've got a much cleaner cut. Moving on to a 2x7, so quite a wide piece of wood. And again, slowly but steadily, it got through the material. So now, removing the vacuum, I'm going to be cutting some metal, and I'm just going to give the area a bit of a clean with the vacuum, as I did forget to turn the vacuum on a couple of times while cutting that wood. So now we're going to cut through a copper pipe, and it cut through the pipe no problem at all. Now onto some aluminium pipe. Here is some steel strap. And now some angle plate. So as I mentioned earlier, this machine has a trench cut facility. If you adjust the knob here to the required depth, you can play around with that to get it where you want it. And then there's a lever that can come down here which stops the blade and allows you to set the depth of the trench. A very useful feature, as you can see here, and it ends up leaving a fairly clean trench which doesn't need much cleaning up with a chisel. I haven't touched this one with a chisel. Okay, so that is about it for this video. My first impressions on this tool. It's very good. I think it's reasonably priced. I think it's very lightweight and portable, easy to carry around, easy to set up. It's packed with features. You can make all sorts of different cuts with this saw. It's got the sliding feature, so you can cut quite wide pieces of wood as well. And most importantly, it comes with that multi-purpose blade, so you can cut all sorts of different materials, which I think gives it an advantage over a conventional mitre saw. You saw in the video I cut through various different types of wood and metal. I've also used it to cut plastic and hardwoods, and it's had no problem cutting anything I've thrown at it. So with that being said, if you'd like to know more about Evolution Power Tools, the website will be in the description of this video, along with my 5% discount code if you want to take advantage of that. So with that being said, please remember to like the video and also consider subscribing for more DIY related content. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.